So today we're going to be going over 10 fragrances that cast an unstoppable, heavy, strong scent trail. So when talking about something like this, when I'm referring to scent trail, I don't necessarily mean projection. Like if you apply a fragrance and you're standing in one spot, how far out that fragrance pushes from your skin. That's not really what I'm referring to here. I'm talking about when you apply the fragrance and then you walk through a room, that scent will linger in the air. You know, it'll create a sillage, as some like to call it, and a scent trail, right? It follows you wherever you go, and it doesn't just leave right after you walk out. It hangs in the air. I mean, you can leave your impression in a room and people will still be smelling you while you're somewhere else, or maybe you've even left the establishment. That's what's so cool. And for me, when it comes to choosing between, strong projection or a strong scent trail, I always like the latter. That's just my personal preference. And you can't always choose that. Like I can't point at a fragrance and say, okay, give me that one, but give it good sillage, right? You got to take what you get. But for me, I kind of gravitate towards fragrances like that. So if you guys are in the same boat, I've got 10 of them here. We're going to stick mostly with designers here. I did go ahead and sneak in one niche at the very end of the video just to kind of tie everything back together, but we're trying to keep it relatively accessible here. I will provide links to all of these down below to discounters, so you can pick them up at a price below retail. Let's just get it started. We're going to start off with an actual fragrance clone or inspired by scent, so to speak. This one is Barouge Perlador. You've probably seen this one buzzing around on YouTube a little bit. I did a first impressions review not too long ago here on the channel, and I love it. It smells fantastic. If you missed that video and you're not fully in the loop, this one smells very, very similar to Parfums de Marly Carlisle. Now, Carlisle is one of my favorite Parfums de Marly's. Unfortunately, it also happens to be typically one of the more expensive ones. I believe even on discounters, you're looking at $250 plus for the 125 ml bottles, so not cheap. But what I love so much about that one is it does kind of what I describe here in this video. It does have strong projection also, but what it really does is it just hangs in the air. It's so dense, it's so rich. You spray that one on, you walk into a room and you leave, that room is going to smell like Carlisle for a long time. And what's nice about Perlador is it gives you a very, very similar effect for about $50, $55, somewhere around in there. This is an 85 milliliter bottle. So it's very heavy, very dense, very resinous and strong. You get like patchouli, this tobacco smell. It's smoky, it's woody, it's sweet as well. I love this stuff. So similar to Carlisle. Not 100%, right? Never expect that from a clone or an inspired by. There's always going to be differences, but this is easily one of the most Carlisle smelling fragrances on a budget that I've smelled, and this one casts an unstoppable scent trail. Next up, we have a discontinued fragrance, but you can still get this one. It's still floating around on discounters and that sort of thing. So I wanted to go ahead and feature it now. It's Gucci Guilty Absolute. So this one has leather, cypress, vetiver, woods, but really it's all about the leather and woods. Only two notes you need to know about, and the woods is a very general term, but it is a very strong, smoky, of course, very leathery and kind of earthy fragrance. One way that I describe this one is it smells like you're maybe a younger guy, right? Or maybe you're a kid and you're out in the shop with your dad. Maybe he's working on his car, his truck, working on some power equipment, right? Changing the oil. He's got oil and grease and everything all over his hands, all over the shop. Maybe you're helping as well and you've got oil and grease and everything, and maybe you happen to be wearing a leather jacket or something. That's kind of what this smells like. It has this very realistic leather note, very strong, definitely the center of attention. But again, it has this, I don't know, this grease, like mechanic type of smell, which may sound very off-putting for some of you. And it's kind of why it's discontinued. It's very challenging. But at the end of the day, the scent trail that this one leaves is incredible. And this is one of the instances where smelling it in the air is your best bet. If you were to spray this one on your skin directly and bury your nose into your hand and smell it that way, it's going to be very overpowering. But if you kind of get this one in the air, you let it dissipate a little bit, you leave a scent trail, it smells delicious. Very amazing. Masculine stuff, strong stuff. And it's sad to think that at some point you will not be able to get this anymore. So I will drop a link down below If you're interested, pick one up before it's too late. Next up, we have Paco Rabanne Pure XS Night. Caramel, myrrh, and cacao are some of the main notes, along with this very, very spicy ginseng note. There's ginger in here as well. So it opens up with those two spices right off the bat. Very, very spicy. Don't let that put you off. I know for me, when I first smelled this one, I sprayed it on for the first time and I'm like, whoa, like this is, like it made my eyes water. I think it almost made me sneeze. I can't remember if I did a first impressions or not. I guess you can go back and look on the channel, but I know I was trying to hold it together. I'm like, wow, this is strong, spicy stuff. And I was a little bit skeptical because I didn't want the entire fragrance to be that way, and luckily it's not. Once you get past that very spicy opening, it sweetens up a lot. The caramel, the myrrh, the cacao starts to come through. It softens up, it sweetens up, it really smooths out, and the dry down is phenomenal. For a Paco Rabanne fragrance, this one is incredibly impressive. One of my favorites. I love Pure XS Night. I love the original as well. And of course, this one leaves a very, very confident scent trail. I mean, it hangs in the air, makes you smell amazing. People are going to be following you around to try to figure out what this one is. Go to another favorite of mine. We have Armani Code Absolu. Vanilla, tonka bean, orange, and suede are some of the main notes here. A release that completely exceeded my expectations time and time again, like over and over. I don't know, I wasn't expecting it to be bad by any means. It's an Armani fragrance. It's from the Code line. I knew they had a lot riding on that. But when I smelled it, I'm like, wow. Like this is amazing. They really did an amazing job here. Profumo also is very good. Armani Code Profumo. That one's a little bit more playful, a little bit more loud and in your face. The way I describe it is, that will be maybe for the younger guy. Armani Code Absolu, maybe a little bit more grown up. Keep in mind, still very sweet, but still a bit more grown up. This one is a Parfum concentration, and I love that concentration because you always get the best, heaviest scent trails. I shouldn't say always, but a lot of times with the Parfum does come a dense, heavy, and rich fragrance that just hangs in the air like smoke, right? And this one smells amazing up in the air. Love this stuff. Very sexy, big compliment getter, great for fall and winter time. And the trail that this one leaves is amazing, and it can't be stopped. So we're gonna go over to a fragrance line, and a fragrance that, while it's not one of my personal favorites like some of the other ones I've been talking about here, it does do the intended purpose of this video very well, which is leave a strong, heavy scent trail. It also happens to get very good compliments. So in situations like this, even though it's not my favorite, I can sit here and say that I respect this fragrance, I respect the fragrance line, and it does do things very well. And there's a reason why it's on top of the game. It's from the Invictus line. It's not the original, although that could have been in here. Trust me, the original Invictus could have made it in this list, could have been substituted for this, but I wanted to be a little bit different and go with Invictus Legend. So this is a tester bottle. That's why it says it on the front. You got to think when this is sitting in a store, it's nice to be able to see the name of it on the front of the bottle there for your customers to know what they're getting. All of the testers are like this way. It's not a fake like some people may think. Looks a little bit tacky, but hey, you could save some money that way. Amber, sea notes, sea salt, and grapefruit are some of the main notes. There's bay leaf in here as well. It's that Invictus DNA, but with a little bit more of a saltiness, a little bit more of kind of this aromatic twist as well. It's still very sweet. It's very Invictus leaning, but there's a different twist. Of course there is, right? It is a flanker after all. For me, if I had to choose between the original and Legend, I would choose Legend. That's just my personal preference. Again, it's still not one that really excites me, but it works so well. I can't deny that. This is a huge performer, like really most of the line. They're all great performers, but I like this one because it'll separate yourself a little bit from the original Invictus, and it's different than Invictus Aqua and Invictus Intense, right? It kind of fits in its own little slot here of having that heavy kind of aromatic feel, a lot of amber, ambroxan, ambergris, whatever you want to call it, going on in here as well. Kind of has a little bit of a blue fragrance type of twist to some extent, and it works so well. Can't deny it. The trail that this one leaves, especially in the summertime, is borderline unbeatable. If you want compliments this summer and you're a younger guy, hit this one up. you're not going to regret it. Let's go over to Spicebomb Night Vision Eau de Parfum. Apple, pistachio, cardamom, and benzoin are some of the main notes. There's also a blanket note of nutty notes in here, so you can interpret that however you would like to. The pistachio kind of sums it up pretty good as well. Between the EDT and this one, I'm talking Night Vision, I prefer the EDP by a long shot. The EDT, it just was such a big change, right? You're going from the original, which is amazing, the Extreme, which is even better, and even the Fresh version, which is a nice kind of springtime take, all the way over to a completely different DNA, kind of more of a modern, trendy smell. It threw me off. The EDT now, I can kind of get down with it, but still, I would choose the EDP any day. It's a little bit stronger, it's richer, it's a little bit more unique, believe it or not. And while it may not excite you like, Spicebomb Extreme would, it leaves a great scent trail. It's a good performer. It is a modernized take on just the men's fragrance in general, so it's going to be a good compliment getter, and it happens to be a very good fit for this video. Next up, we have Azzaro, Wanted by Night. This happens to be actually not their newest release anymore. We have Azzaro, the Most Wanted Parfum, out somewhere. Not here yet. I haven't gotten it yet, but this is, their second newest release. This one has cardamom, toffee, and amberwood. So it's a little bit more of a gourmand take. This one separates itself the most from the line. Well, I guess Tonic does as well a little bit, but we don't need to worry about Tonic. Tonic is not that good at all. Don't waste your money on that one. But when you take a look at the original, that's kind of the benchmark. Wanted by Night. That one plays on that one heavily, but with the cinnamon, tobacco chord in there, smells amazing. This one goes in a different direction. Kind of a modern twist also, being that it uses that amberwood heavily. Gourmand aspect from the toffee, kind of has a coffee smell as well, a sweetness going on here. A little bit of a powdery type of smell also from this like tonka bean accord going on. They only list off 3 notes. That's kind of the trend these days, but there is more going on here. They just kind of give you the ones that they want you to smell. But I do like it. It smells great. It's still, for me, not quite as good as Wanted by Night. It's close, not quite there, but I do like this one and I do appreciate it. I like the scent trail that it leaves. It smells much better in the air. Like if you're wearing it and you smell it in the air versus, just spraying it on your skin, smelling it right there, or even doing what I just did and spraying it up in the air, right? When it's actually being worn by someone and you're getting that sillage behind them, it smells amazing. Let's go to the most classy fragrance in this video, or at least one of the most. There's one other one at the very end that's also very classy as well. We've been covering a lot of sweet, kind of trendy, modern fragrances here, which are going to appeal to the younger guys. So if you're an older gentleman and you want something masculine and mature, this one is going to do that so well and leave a great scent trail. It's Terre de Hermes Parfum. Orange, woods, and oak moss are some of the main notes. Really all you need to know. It's dry, it's woody, it's earthy. It's Terre de Hermes, but cranked way up to the max here with a parfum concentration. It's drier, it's woodier, it's more masculine, but it still has this mature, upscale, refined, and very expensive smell to it, like really the whole line does, but this one kind of takes it to the next level. This parfum concentration is no joke. It's so strong. You need to make sure that you are a fan of the Terre de Hermes DNA before you jump into the parfum. This is probably not the best jumping off point. If you're just new to the line, maybe start off with Eau Très Fresh. Work your way over to the original, Eau Intense Vetiver, and finally, if you want the most extreme, go for the Parfum. But do keep in mind, this is the most intense one. Very heavy, very strong stuff, but it does leave an amazing trail. Second to last fragrance, we have Bvlgari Man In Black. Rum, cinnamon, leather, and tobacco are some of the main notes. So this one has a relatively strong similarity to Spicebomb EDT, the original here. Am I in focus? Now we are. But it's also more mature. It's kind of introducing a rum accord, a little bit of a booziness, which I think is a genius idea. I love that about this one. And it just kind of takes that DNA, which has been overdone. I mean, pretty much everyone remembers Spicebomb Eau de Toilette, how everyone was wearing it, and it's kind of labeled the ex-boyfriend fragrance. They took that DNA, they reworked it, they made it a bit more masculine, and this literally smells like someone dressed in all black, a dude, right? Someone that's, well-dressed, going to a nice event, a black tie event in the evening perhaps, That's what this one's all about, and it accomplishes that so well, and the trail that it leaves is amazing. And last up for this video, we're gonna end it on a niche fragrance. We're gonna kind of bring this all back full circle to one of my favorite fragrances of all time. One of like the best scent trail leaving fragrances in my collection. You know, that whole conglomeration there, scent trail leaving fragrances. It casts an amazing sillage, one of the best ones in my collection. I mean, with this one here, and this is not new news, this is very common knowledge, the majority of your compliments will come from people smelling your sillage. I mean, it's been tested many times. If you spray this one on your hand and you shove it in someone's face and you tell them to smell it, they may not like it, right? It's very strong, kind of peppery and very masculine and woody. But in the air, you get the fruity notes, you get the woods, and especially in the summer heat, this fragrance is an absolute weapon. It's a monster. You need to use it responsibly. I know I will. It is Creed Aventus, of course. Pineapple, bergamot, birch, ambergris. Did I say apple? Pineapple, apple, birch, ambergris, bergamot, blackcurrant. Did I say that already as well? I don't know, but you guys know the note breakdown. I don't need to describe that. This is a scent that just will forever work. It goes down in the history as one of the most popular men's fragrances. In terms of niche, I don't want to say best because that will trigger people. Not the best, but definitely one of the most popular as far as niche is concerned. And when you look at the price tag that this one demands, that's very impressive, and that has to prove something. For me, I don't care about the hype. You know, I own close to 10 bottles of this one because I like it, not because everyone else is talking about it and I go, ooh, I want to buy this up. I wear this stuff heavily. I'll take bottles with me on vacations and I will wear it exclusively every single day to the beach, to the pool, wherever. I wear them, and I buy a new one every year just because of the batch variation thing. It's just a fragrance that I love. It's a fragrance that really lit that fire for me when I was just starting out, you know, or at least maybe not even quite a year into my collecting yet. I got a sample of it. And the compliments that I've gotten from this one in the air is amazing. My girlfriend loves it. It's a wonderful scent. And that's where we're going to end it. Alrighty, guys, that's going to do it for me. That is 10 fragrances that cast an unstoppable scent trail. If you want to have your fragrance smelled while you have left the building, left the room, kind of have people buzzing and chattering, oh, what is that smell? That smells amazing. They're trying to find the source of it, but you're already down the road. These fragrances are going to do that for you. And it's pretty freaking cool. I will link all these down below to discounters as well. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.